Imagine a place where the veil between our world and something ancient, something unspeakable, thins to almost nothing. Tonight, we delve into a chilling account from the heart of Illinois, a state often known for its quiet farmlands and bustling cities, but which, on one terrifying night, became a hunting ground. This isn't just a campfire story. It's a harrowing recollection of an encounter with a creature that defies explanation, a being whispered about in hushed tones. If you're drawn to the unexplained and the truly terrifying, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, so you don't miss our deep dives into the shadows. Our story begins with a young man named Alex, a college student on his way back home after visiting family in southern Illinois. It was late autumn, the kind of evening where the air bites with a crisp chill, and the roads stretch endlessly through desolate stretches of farmland and woods. He'd taken this route countless times, a familiar path that usually offered nothing more than the monotony of the highway and the occasional deer crossing. But tonight, something felt different. An unsettling quiet had descended, amplifying the hum of his tires against the asphalt. As he drove deeper into a particularly wooded area, a stretch known locally for its density and lack of cellular service, a sudden, inexplicable feeling of dread washed over him. It wasn't just the late hour or the isolation. It was a profound sense of being watched. He dismissed it as fatigue, a trick of the mind. But then, a sound cut through the silence. Something unnatural. It wasn't an animal, not a fox or an owl. It was a distorted, guttural cry, too deep for any creature he knew, too close for comfort. Alex instinctively slowed down, his heart beginning to pound against his ribs. The sound seemed to emanate from the tree line just off the road, a place where the shadows deepened into an impenetrable void. He considered speeding up, but a morbid curiosity, or perhaps a primal instinct, made him pull over. The moment he cut the engine, the world went silent. The unnerving cry had vanished, replaced by an oppressive quiet that pressed in on him, making every rustle of leaves sound like a whisper. He strained his eyes, trying to pierce the inky blackness beyond the reach of his headlights, and then he saw it. Not immediately, but as his eyes adjusted, a shape began to materialize at the very edge of his headlight beam. It was tall, impossibly thin, standing on two legs, but unlike any human or animal he had ever encountered. Its posture was wrong, a series of disjointed angles. It moved with an unnatural fluidity, a jerky grace that sent shivers down his spine. It seemed to sway, as if trying to imitate a human, but failing grotesquely. Then it turned its head. Alex couldn't make out features, only the glint of what might have been eyes reflecting the faint light. And then a sound emerged, not the guttural cry from before, but something far more chilling, a perfect, distorted mimicry of a human voice, whispering his name. Alex froze. Every fiber of his being screamed at him to move, to drive, to escape, but his body wouldn't obey. The whisper, his own name, spoken by something so utterly alien, paralyzed him with a terror he had never known. The creature began to move towards the car, not walking, but gliding, its limbs shifting and elongating with each step. It was unnervingly silent, its approach punctuated only by the frantic pounding of Alex's heart. As it drew closer, the details became horrifyingly clear. Its face was a grotesque parody of humanity, stretched and gaunt, with eyes that seemed too large, too black, reflecting no light, only consuming it. It was leaning in, its breath fogging the glass. A slow, unnatural smile spread across its face, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too numerous. It was a smile of pure malice, a silent promise of unspeakable horrors. Alex could feel the chill radiating from it, even through the glass. That's when he found his voice. A raw, primal scream ripped from his throat. The sound seemed to shatter the oppressive silence, momentarily breaking the spell of terror that held him captive. With a surge of adrenaline, he fumbled for the ignition, his trembling fingers barely able to turn the key. The engine roared to life, a comforting sound that momentarily pushed back the encroaching dread. He slammed the car into reverse, tires spitting gravel, then shifted to drive and floored the accelerator. The car lurched forward, leaving the horrific figure behind in a cloud of dust and exhaust. But as he sped away, he couldn't resist a glance in his rearview mirror. And there it was, a tall, dark silhouette standing perfectly still in the middle of the road, watching him go. It seemed to be shrinking, fading into the darkness, but its presence lingered. He drove like a madman, the speedometer needle climbing higher and higher. But even at breakneck speeds, he couldn't shake the feeling of being pursued. Every shadow in his periphery seemed to shift. Every tree seemed to lean in. Then, faintly at first, he heard it again. Whispers, not from outside, but seemingly from inside the car, from the very air around him. His name distorted. Then other words, too ancient, too guttural to comprehend, yet filled with malevolence. He gripped the wheel, knuckles white, forcing himself to focus on the road. Was he hallucinating? Was the creature somehow still with him, playing with his mind? The terror was no longer just external. It was internal, insidious. It felt like an eternity before he saw the first distant lights of a town, a beacon of safety in the oppressive darkness. He pushed the car harder, desperate to reach the comforting glow of civilization. He pulled into the nearest gas station, his body trembling uncontrollably, his mind reeling. The attendant, a sleepy teenager, barely registered his disheveled appearance. Alex just needed to be around other people to feel safe. He bought a coffee, his hands shaking so much he almost spilled it. The warmth of the cup did little to thaw the icy fear that had settled deep in his bones. He knew, with chilling certainty, that he had narrowly escaped something truly ancient and evil. Days turned into weeks, but the memory of that night refused to fade. Every shadow held a potential threat. Every strange sound sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. He felt marked, forever changed by what he had witnessed. Driven by a desperate need for answers, he began to research, delving into forgotten folklore and whispered legends. That's when he stumbled upon the term Skinwalker, a creature from Navajo mythology. known for its ability to mimic animals and humans, to wear their forms. While skinwalkers are traditionally associated with the American Southwest, stories of similar shape-shifting entities exist in various cultures and locations, including disturbing accounts from the Midwest. The parallels to his encounter were undeniable, horrifyingly precise. He learned that these beings are often associated with dark magic, with violating natural laws, and that encountering one is often a prelude to misfortune or worse. The experience left him with a profound respect for the unseen and a chilling warning for others. So, the next time you find yourself driving down a desolate road, deep in the heart of what seems like ordinary farmland, remember Alex's story. Remember that some horrors don't just exist in fiction. They lurk in the shadows, waiting. Have you ever had an inexplicable encounter? A moment that made the hairs on your neck stand up? A feeling of something ancient watching you from the dark? Share your own chilling stories or theories about what Alex encountered in the comments below. We read every one,